Karl Marx was a German philosopher, economist, sociologist, journalist, and revolutionary socialist, best known for his theories on capitalism and socialism. His works, including The Communist Manifesto and Das Kapital, have profoundly influenced modern political thought and the development of social sciences. Early life, birth and family. Karl Heinrich Marx was born on May 5, 1818, in Trier, Prussia, now Germany, to a relatively prosperous family. His father, Heinrich Marx, was a successful lawyer who came from a line of Jewish rabbis but converted to Protestantism, and his mother, Henriette Pressburg, was also from a Jewish family. The family's middle-class background provided Marx with a good education. Education. Marx attended the Trier Gymnasium and later went on to the University of Bonn, where he studied law before transferring to the University of Berlin. At Berlin, he became engrossed in the ideas of German philosophy, particularly those of Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. He became involved in radical student groups and began to develop his own political views. Early career. After completing his studies, Marx briefly worked as a journalist. In 1842, he became the editor of the Rheinische Zeitung, a liberal newspaper in Cologne, but it was shut down by the Prussian authorities because of its radical content. Following this, Marx was forced to leave Germany for France in 1843. In Paris, Marx met various intellectuals, including Friedrich Engels, who would become his lifelong collaborator. He began to develop his critiques of political economy, culminating in his theory of historical materialism, which asserted that the economic base of society influences its social and political structures, a key element in Marxist theory. Major works in political activism. The Communist Manifesto. In 1848, Marx and Engels published The Communist Manifesto, which called for the working class, the proletariat, to rise against the bourgeoisie, the capitalists, and seize control of the means of production. The manifesto outlined Marx's theories about class struggle, historical development, and the nature of capitalism. Das Kapital. Marx's most comprehensive work is Das Kapital, volume I published in 1867, in which he analyzed capitalism's economic systems. He explored concepts such as surplus value, the difference between the value produced by labor and the actual wage paid to laborers, arguing that this exploitation was central to capitalist economies. The work is foundational in modern economics and socialist thought. Political engagement. Throughout the 1840s and 1850s, Marx was active in various political movements and organizations, including the International Workingmen's Association, First International, formed in 1864, where he played a crucial role in advocating for workers' rights and the need for international cooperation among labor movements. Later life. Exile and Poverty. Due to his political activities, Marx faced continuous opposition from various governments, leading to his eventual exile from France to Belgium and later to England. He settled in London in 1849, where he lived in poverty for many years. He relied heavily on financial support from Engels, while also hustling to earn a living through journalism and other ventures. Family life. Marx married Jenny von Westphalen in 1843, and they had 7 children, though only 3 survived into adulthood. The family faced many hardships, including poverty and the loss of several children to illness. Intellectual legacy. While Marx was often marginalized during his lifetime, his ideas gained traction in the late 19th century and beyond, becoming foundational for various socialist and communist movements worldwide. He continued to write and engage in political discussions until his death. Karl Marx died on March 14, 1883, in London. He was buried in Highgate Cemetery, where his grave is marked by a large monument, a testament to his enduring influence and legacy. Marx's ideas have had a profound impact on the world. His critique of capitalism laid the foundation for various political movements throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, leading to the establishment of socialist states, the labor movement, and Marxist theoretical frameworks that still resonate today. His concept of dialectical materialism continues to influence philosophical thought, social theory, and economics. In contemporary discussions, Marx's insights on class struggle, labor, and capitalism remain relevant, particularly in critiques of inequality, globalization, and the nature of economic systems. His legacy is seen in various fields, including sociology, political science, and economics, where scholars continue to analyze and interpret his works. Theoretical contributions. 1. Historical materialism. This is the methodology Marx developed for understanding human societies. It argues that the material conditions of a society, particularly its economic structure, fundamentally determine its social structures, political systems, and ideologies. This perspective contrasts with idealist views that prioritize ideas and beliefs in shaping history. 2. Class struggle. Marx believed that history is primarily driven by class struggles. He identified two primary classes in capitalist societies: the bourgeoisie, owners of production, and the proletariat, working class. He argued that economic interests would lead these classes to conflict, ultimately pushing toward a revolutionary change that would establish a classless society. 3. Surplus value. One of Marx's key economic theories is that capitalists generate profits primarily through the extraction of surplus value from workers. Surplus value is the difference between the value produced by labor and the wages paid to workers. Marx posited that this exploitation was a fundamental injustice of capitalism. 4. Alienation. Marx wrote about the alienation of labor, arguing that under capitalism, workers become estranged from the products of their labor, the act of production, their own self, and each other. This alienation occurs because workers do not own the means of production and are forced to sell their labor for survival. 5. Ideology and control. Marx posited that the ruling class not only controls the means of production but also shapes the ideology of society, what people accept as normal. This means that ideas, culture, and social norms can be tools for maintaining class dominance. Political activities. 1. International Workingmen's Association, First International. Marx was heavily involved in this organization in the 1860s. His participation allowed him to connect with various labor movements across Europe and advocate for workers' rights, bridging theoretical discussions with practical political action. 2. Communism. In addition to the Communist Manifesto, Marx's ideas laid the groundwork for various socialist movements. His vision was not strictly limited to communism, but revolutions, both social and political, became associated with the implementation of his theories. Impact on subsequent movements. 1. Socialism and communism. Marx's theories inspired revolutions and the establishment of socialist governments, notably in Russia, 1917, and China, 1949. The adaptation of Marxism in various countries led to different interpretations and practices, including Leninism and Maoism. 2. Labor movements. Marx's emphasis on class struggle influenced the labor movement, pushing for workers' rights and the establishment of trade unions. His work spurred significant labor reforms and international solidarity among workers. 3. Academic influence. In the fields of sociology, political science, and economics, Marx's ideas stimulated extensive debate and analysis. His critique of capitalism informed major schools of thought, including critical theory, cultural studies, and various forms of post-Marxist theory. Criticism and controversy. Marx's ideas have also faced significant criticism and debate. 1. Determinism. Critics argue that Marx's focus on economics as the primary driver of societal change neglects the roles of ideology, culture, and human agency. 2. Dictatorship of the proletariat. The concept of the dictatorship of the proletariat has been contentious, especially considering how some Marxist-inspired regimes resulted in authoritarian practices. 3. Economic predictions. Some of Marx's predictions regarding capitalism have been challenged, particularly regarding its adaptability and ability to reform itself to avoid crises. Legacy. Karl Marx's legacy remains powerful, influencing contemporary political thought, debate over capitalism, and discussions about inequality in class dynamics. His works continue to be studied, critiqued, and reinterpreted across disciplines. In the 21st century, with rising concerns over economic inequality, globalization, and capitalist crises, Marx's critiques lend insight into ongoing discussions about the nature of economic and social justice.